Hey everybody, welcome to the Pace Studios here in New York City. We are here today with Tall Heights. Guys, thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
You guys have a new album out. It's called Neptune. You're going to play a couple songs from that as well as an older one. Tell me a little bit about the first song for us today.
This is Spirit Cold. It's sort of a stripped back version.
How do I wake my spirit cold? We always say when our history's told. If only we knew the things we know. There's a question ages old. Let me down easy, let me down slow. If all good things ever come and go, let me back down in the place I know. Hold the nail for the hammer stroke. This my trash, this my tone. It's my blood, it's my bone. How do I learn my dreams to mourn? To lay them bare in the morning cold. If they're still out there, then the chasm grows. For all you know, for all you know. Let me down easy, let me down slow. If all good things ever come and go, let me back down in a place I know. Hold the nail for the hammer stroke. It's my weapon, it's my loan. It's my blood, it's my bone. How do I wake my spirit cold? Most people die, but others just go. She's still out there in the chasm rose, steady on her feet in the morning glow. It's my trash, it's my tone. It's my weapon, it's my loan. This my mountain, this is my home. How do I wake my spirit cold? There's a question ages old.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
So I wanted to ask, Neptune seems to be a kind of a culmination maybe of an expansion of your sound from something that used to be much more acoustic and, the two of you guys. And, what I wonder is this where you always sort of saw yourself evolving to, or is this is sort of what happens in the moment, and you go with the sounds as they come to you?
Yeah, well, I think for a long time we were sort of like under this strange, I guess, immature idea that like we should be something and stay something. You know, that was like what we fell into when we were doing like hundreds of hours of street performing and doing tons of shows as a duo. And we had this like shtick or something like that, you know, like we felt like that was something that, you know, to stray from that would be to like betray some people who have decided they love what we're doing.
Yeah.
And then we grew up and realized that like being an artist is to just like capture what you want to do and what you like and what you love.
Is this something that you've always wanted to do, would you say, or
Well,
it's sort
like,
of come to you as you've gone along?
I think the realization was just like we should be making music that sounds like what we love, and rather than something that we feel like we should be doing, like as we were kind of locking ourselves into as a duo. So then we made the record, just like free of confines, artistically speaking. I guess also in every other way, we weren't enslaved in any way. We were just acting the way we wanted to act in the studio, and we made the record. And then after that, we needed to sort of like retroactively address the live sound thing, try to realize that live. And so it was sort of like make the record in the way that we wanted to. That's Neptune. And then we created the current live setup, which actually this is a very, very simplified version of what we do on a nightly basis.
Yeah. So in terms of the next song you're going to play, this is actually going back in the catalog. I'm not quite sure how far back.
Yeah, just to the previous EP called Holding On, Holding Out.
Right. And that was sort of in a sense, the beginning of where you sort of are now in terms of evolving.
Yeah,
is that right?
For sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we made Neptune over the course of 9 months. We kind of did a week at a time, and like several months apart. And the first collection of songs became Holding On, Holding Out, and then most of the latter, with a few carryovers like Spirit Cold, became Neptune. And so yeah, Holding On, Holding Out was the step in the direction of Neptune, and Neptune was more of the leap.
Right. So tell me about this next one in that context.
Yeah.
I think this is like the perfect transitional number. Actually, it was the way we recorded it, not the way we're playing it today. It was very acoustic, folky, really plucky acoustic guitars, but then we put this electronic percussion on top of it, gave it kind of like a disco backbeat. And it's actually like Paul wrote the lyrics for his grandfather who had just passed away, so it's an homage to where we're coming from in a lot of ways.
Great. Take it away.
We haven't been the same, you know, since we buried you below. All that's still eternity in a plot you picked out so many years ago, when you laid your wife in her grave. But bring me back to autumn, or lead me on to May. I'm not ready to take the Band-Aid on your dying day. closer to channel you in my hands, feel your force in a way, and it'll bring me back to autumn, or lead me on to May. I'm not ready to take them, abandoned on your dying day. It will bring me back to autumn, or lead me on to May. I'm not ready to take them, abandoned on your dying
Thank you. So before we play the last song, you guys mentioned, you played many shows, or you performed a lot, in public on the streets, in and around Boston. I think it was your hometown, or your home city. And so as you're now on a major label, and you've got this sort of more electric sound with more logistics built into it. Is there ever any sense that this chapter that you really began with out on the streets, playing sort of impromptu for people, is something that is difficult to recapture, or you're never able to sort of go back there, or would you ever sort of want to get back to that kind of state of being?
Thanks for asking a cool question.
Yeah,
It's so refreshing.
It's my pleasure.
I don't think we miss, lugging our stuff out there in pants in the 85-degree humidity day after day. But there's something special, something that in retrospect, when you're not thinking about, the grind of it, that was really wonderful. We even went out last summer once just to do it. And, we just did it as duo, but we had a little more gear than we used to have. And, it's a really fun thing to do once or twice as a special occasion, and not as a...
Not 70 times in 2 months.
Yeah.
But also, thinking back, some of the fondest moments that I can remember were always the evening shifts, the nighttime 2-hour windows we'd grab, and the lights were on, and people would find this sort of shelter in the music. After a day out in exploring a new city, they'd sit down on the cobblestones out there, and the temperature is perfect. You could smell the ocean, and we'd just be playing music, and sometimes we'd have 200 people sitting right in front of us outside, and people would just look at that and say, what the hell's going on here? And those were really, really special moments, because you realize that you don't need a venue, or you don't need a stage or lighting, or, although we did have pretty good lighting. The magic can just happen with the music. And that's certainly something that I carry with me still. Makes me realize that everything else is just sort of bullshit.
Yeah. And what I wonder about that is, there's a certain, as you say, there's a magic to it, there's a spontaneity to it. And now that you guys have, you've earned more success, you're playing to more people, you're spreading yourselves around a lot. Do you find it difficult in any way to recreate that sense of magic, or is it just sort of a new kind of magic that takes its place?
Well, I think the common thread between that magic and this magic would be something called authenticity, and so we never were this huge, we were never acting as anything other than ourselves when we were street performing. And I think that would be mostly what would get people to stop, is that they could tell something wasn't just for show, that we were expressing something that we found very meaningful. And so we'd be playing these plucky, heartfelt acoustic numbers, not playing Sweet Caroline in Boston, you know what I mean? We were just playing original songs and letting people buy the CDs if they wanted to. And so that's sort of what we're going to keep trying to do, as much as possible. I mean, we really suck at doing anything other than that. As soon as we start to feel like we're trying to be something else, everything kind of goes to shit.
So for your last number, tell me a little bit about what you're going to leave us with today.
This is Cross My Mind, and when we write songs, our usual process is one person comes up with an idea and shares sort of a half written thing to the other person, and then we bring it the rest of the way together. This song was one where I was on the downstairs working on the keyboard, playing this idea, and Tim was upstairs. We couldn't hear each other, but we just kind of like checked in, see how each other's morning was
The
going.
hidden message here is that we live together.
I want to tell you, yeah. And
So you meet in the middle, sort of? Like
Yeah, I
literally
live
meet in the middle?
I live
it's
in
actually
Unit 2.
it's a sore subject. I got to go to the third floor for the creative time, which is his home.
And you're on the first?
He's on
First,
unit. He's in Unit
yeah.
1.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. I
Yeah.
can only... I
Yeah.
have to ask what goes on the second floor.
Yeah, no, you can't.
No,
can't
you'll have
answer
to come
that.
over and find out.
All right,
Yeah.
all right, that's fine.
So yeah, we told each other what we were working on, and they sort of fit really nicely together, and we just did a little.
That was like a few days before we went up to the studio, so we just
Yeah.
finished it on the ride up.
Sweet.
And I'm just going to use cell phones.
When I am surrounded, I hear myself responding. I hear myself all tongue in cheek to match the fear of falling. When I am surrounded, I find myself a splendor. I find myself a trolling line, trapping all she tenders. I find myself. There's less inside me now. There's less inside me this time. Steal my breath and cross my mind. There's less inside me now. When I am surrounded, I feel myself resounding. I feel myself a shingle down, limerence abounding. When I am surrounded, I see myself receding. I see myself a tile floor, a pattern worth repeating. I see myself. There's less inside me now. There's less inside me this time. Steal my breath and cross my mind. There's less inside me now. There's less inside me now. There's less inside me this time. Steal my breath and cross my mind. There's less inside me now.
Thanks, guys. That was awesome.
Thanks.
I don't want to talk out of school, but I think that was our first ever cell phone feedback performance
I'm classical.
sure.
I'm classically trained.
Classically trained. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I hope you have an unlimited data plan because that is going to get expensive, possibly.
Is that actually? He's our data expert. Is that technically data?
I think so.
I think
That's data.
you're making calls,
Didn't even
right? I
know
mean,
it
were you
is.
calling?
Yeah,
were you
yeah,
like
yeah.
making calls?
Yeah,
and
that
then
was
having,
a
like,
direct call.
That was
yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
All
well,
on
you know,
family plans. So
Yeah, no worries there.
I'm
Hey,
the newest to the
if
family.
this is the least of our data concerns, you should see us in the van.
oh yeah,
Just
all right.
like watching cat videos and stuff.
Well, maybe you can, integrate that in. So you guys have, I think you're playing tonight in New York, right? Is that Bowery?
Baby's all right.
Baby's all right. That's right. And so after that, tell us a little bit about where you're headed, where our readers can see you.
Yeah, we got Asbury Park in Philly, Columbus, Cleveland, Chicago, Des Moines, Minneapolis, Ottawa, Toronto, a couple others in there.
It's all online, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's-
go find it.
Use your data.
Yeah, we will use our data. Tall Heights. Thank you guys so much for coming by and playing some beautiful songs for us. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Hey, we love Pace Magazine, and we really appreciate you guys talking about us and caring. So thanks.
It's our pleasure.